We are all busy people. Everybody's lives have many facets with work, home, friends, family, colleagues, partners, maybe even going as far as children as well. And as time goes on, no doubt other commitments have crept in, almost unnoticed, to the point where, whether you realize it or not, there are probably multiple versions of you all juggling different plates. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Cameron, and on this channel we talk about all sorts of things like self-development, my career as a magician here in Canada, as well as all sorts of other fun stuff. So if that sounds like your jam, be sure to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So the feeling of being overwhelmed by all of this juggling can really creep up on you, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, just think for a moment how many versions there are specifically of you. There's the personal you with family and friends, there's the professional you with colleagues, there's you in a relationship, as well as you just being you. And each of these versions of you have to meet a different set of demands and expectations. And for me especially, learning to manage the tensions between these different versions of me is something that I've had to spend a bit of time learning, and I'm still learning to this day. And I've learned that the answer is not to become universally excellent at every single one of these things, but rather to understand which of these things require the most attention at any given point in my life. Remember, there are many different versions of you, but at the end of the day, there is still only one of actual you, like one physical you. And I don't know about you, but every time I get overwhelmed and I have all these things going on, I tend to suffer really badly from something called analysis paralysis, which is really hard to say quickly. Which is basically when you have so much going on that despite your best efforts, you end up just looking at all of these things and actually doing nothing about any of them. Or worse, you end up focusing your time and your energy on the things that you know you're able to do, but the things that aren't necessarily the ones that need to get done now. The kind of small menial tasks that don't really make any significant difference. Instead, what I try to do is I try to realize that change is constant and that I cannot control everything. And for me anyway, one of the best ways to mitigate this analysis paralysis and this stress that comes with so many things happening at once is to first realize this, that you cannot control everything, and secondly, to implement that advice of only trying to control the controllables. In fact, back in my days of being a full-time professional speaker, we used to teach an amazing trick to help with this. This is how it works. You take a piece of paper or a notepad and you draw a line vertically down the center of the page. On one side of this line, write the word controllable, and on the other side at the top, write the word uncontrollable. And then really simply make a list of all the things in your life that you cannot control. Things like the amount of paperwork you have, the weather, the traffic, how many stop signs you run into, how people in your workplace or in your life behave towards you, anything like that that you have no control over. And on the other side, list all of the things that you can control. As you list all of these things that you can control, you'll quickly realize that they fall into one of two categories. They will either be your actions or your reactions. When you boil everything down, in the end, you're only actually left with these two options. The only things you can control are your actions and your reactions to situations. And although that might make you feel at first kind of powerless, that there is really only two things in life that you can control, if you think about your actions and your reactions as things in themselves, they are powerful. Think about all the things that you've achieved up till now, and potentially all the things you will achieve in the future with only your actions and your reactions to blame. So now you have this piece of paper filled with all the things that are worrying you, stressing you out, or causing you anxiety, but split into these two columns of things you can control and things that you can't control. Here's the trick. All you have to do is simply fold that sheet of paper in half. Fold it in half along that vertical line. Fold it so that you can only see and are only concentrating on the things that you can control. As you take that sheet that you have filled with all your worries and concerns and you fold it in half, you will literally see the things that you should be worried or concerned about at very least half. You can physically and visually see your worries get smaller. Doing this will also help you focus on the things that you can impact, the things that you can control. But everything on the back of that piece of paper that's maybe now facing down or facing the table, don't worry about it. Because if you literally can't control it, if you can't impact it in any way, then what is the point in worrying about it? Your efforts, your anxieties, your stresses are probably better off placed elsewhere. Hey friends, I really hope you enjoyed that really short video on one of the best pieces of advice that I ever learned. I learned this back when I first became a professional speaker, and I've absolutely loved teaching this to people over the years. It felt like a good time in my life to pass this piece of advice on via YouTube. I've been a little AWOL on socials recently, and for that I apologize. Since life sort of started back up again, finding the time and motivation to keep creating content for the internet has become a little bit more difficult. So I do miss it and I do enjoy it, so I'm going to hold myself a bit more accountable going forward and try to create some more videos more regularly. but I just wanted to stop and say thank you to every single one of you that's kept supporting me over the months that I've been away. As always, stay awesome, remember to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.